Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we will be taking a brief look at the surprises from the 2024 presidential election, going through the states that really provided us with the, biggest shock from what we were expecting. This comes down to swing states, of course, the ones that matter, but it really extends beyond that. It goes to, blue states, for example, like Illinois and New Jersey that were shockingly close. Or as I was talking about with swing states, Wisconsin, Democrats actually made significant gains in portions of the states that they should be, excited about coming future elections. You also had some red states where Republicans, they were once looking like swing states. Republicans made massive gains, like Texas and Florida. They were really shocking surprises, shocking results all across the board. And that's what we're going to be taking a look at in today's video. So, first of all, what we have here is the shift map from 2020 to the current results in 2024. Now, every state has been called, by the way. The final tallies 312 to 226. So we basically have the results from every state. California, whatever. A few, not many are in. But whatever, those aren't really the surprises either. So right off the bat, you look and say, wow, Kamala Harris, the Democrats in 2024 did not make a single gain in any state from 2020. As you can see, from 2020 to 2024, every single state became more Republican. Utah is Harris's last hope to maybe make some slight gains. Let's see how much. 80, because only 86% are in. So Utah could become a little more Democratic. But as you see across the board, Republicans made gains everywhere, and even in 2020. Joe Biden, of course, did better than Hillary Clinton, right? Democrats did better in 2020 than they did in 2016. But despite that, Republicans and Trump, they were able to make some gains in a few states, right? Like in Florida, they gained 3 points. In Illinois, they gained a point. It was marginal. In Hawaii, they gained 2 points. It was marginal. But they had 4 or 5 states where they did make gains. With the Democrats this year, not a single gain. That is just right off the bat extremely, extremely surprising to me. I thought obviously they would make gains in many, many, many states. Um, so first of all, let's just take a look at some of these insane shifts in across the board. You see in New Jersey and New York, you saw absolutely massive shifts, trends towards Donald Trump, towards the Republican Party. In New Jersey, Trump gained 10.5% from his 2020 performance. In New York, he gained 11.5. I believe 11 and a half is his largest gain of any state. So obviously the multiple rallies in New York, the one rally in New Jersey, I think it was in Ocean City a long time ago. He knew he wasn't going to win those states, but it was effective in breaking down the popular vote, tearing down the popular vote margin that has traditionally been with Democrats. And that's how Trump was able to win the popular vote. I mean, that in itself is a massive shock. Donald Trump has won the popular vote. That's a broad shock surprise, but that is a massive surprise. And it was because he made inroads in the cities. He made inroads in these states that aren't going to be competitive, but it allowed him to make massive gains, small areas in terms of landmass, but massive gains because of how densely populated it is in urban areas like New York, New Jersey, California, as well as, you know, a state, not a blue state, but a red state, Florida, which went from by 10 points, but he really increased his vote margin there by 10 percentage points. So just look at the trend map in a state like New Jersey. You look at New Jersey and New York City as well, and we could see the trend in each county really from 2020. Essex County became 11 points more Republican than 2020. Staten Island, 16 points more Republican. Nassau County, 14 points. Suffolk, now we're going on to Long Island, 11 points. Bergen, this is in New Jersey, 13 points. Rockland, 14. Westchester, 10. So as you can see, yes, this state as a whole trended 10 points towards the right. Trended 10 points, or 12 points towards the right. But sure, Trump, I'm sure, made gains in the upstate New York, but where it really came from, right, where he gained even more than 12 points like he did across the state, that was in the city. That was in the city. That was around New Jersey as well. So just absolute insane, insane numbers when it comes to the trend map. You could just see it on this map too. You look, whatever, sure, gains in upstate as well. But where it really comes from is the city. Is the city. Absolutely insane. Stunning shifts that Donald Trump has been able to turn in his direction. So that is where, his popular vote win comes from, is these blue states, as well as California. He's on track to gain 10 points. That's pretty crazy from 2020. But you also have Texas and Florida. And Texas is especially important because this is a state that has been year by year, slowly becoming more and more Democratic. Mitt Romney won it by something like 16 points in 2012. Hillary Clinton narrowed that down to 10 in 2016. And then Joe Biden narrowed it down to 5 in 2020, as well as the Senate race in 2018. That was a 2-point margin. Democrats have been, slowly making gains in the state of Texas, and it has been entirely diminished this election. You can just see here. Here's the actual map. Trump has won the state of Texas by 14 points. And what has really prompted this are the Latinos around the Rio Grande Valley, and I recognize that they would trend Republican, but I thought it'd be heavily offsetted by the massive leftward trends in the suburbs. However, I severely underestimated the power of these Latino voters in the Rio Grande Valley. Once a Republican stronghold, these counties along the Mexican border, you could see Trump is actually winning them now. Look, this is the shift from 2020. This is the region of the country, I think, on average, that saw the largest shift towards Donald Trump. Look at that. Maverick County, again, heavily Latino counties, all along here, became 28 points more Republican. That is unheard of. El Paso County, obviously where El Paso is. Harris won it handily, but it became 20 points more Republican. Culberson County, 20 points more Republican. Dimmitt County, 21 points. You could see it extends all across. And again, look at these suburbs around Dallas. Even they trended Republican, so obviously wasn't enough to offset that sort of trend. Just look at the arrows nationwide. Maybe you could compare it to Florida, but you really can't. The biggest shift of any region in the country came from the Rio Grande Valley, where these Latino voters are, who are trending away from the Democratic Party for not delivering for them, and because of social issues, whatever, like race and all that. So, just look at this map. So few counties trended at all towards the Democratic Party. Just the suburbs around Georgia. And honestly, that is a positive for the Democrats that they should be happy about. Looking forward, because that was one of the few things Harris was able to do in this election. But just massive losses across the board, as well as Florida. Now, Florida, we always talk about how, oh yeah, it's a rapidly trending right state, right, towards the Republicans. But now we can officially say it is gone. It is not even close to a swing state anymore. Donald Trump has won the state of Florida by 13 points this election. That is 10 points more Republican from 2020. 10 whole points more Republican. In just 4 years. Just 4 years. Get that in your mind. Again, this was one of the other states that shifted the most towards the Republicans in this election. Look at Miami-Dade County. Became 19 points more Republican in 2020. You could even see in let me see if I can get to it. In 2016, Hillary Clinton won Miami-Dade County. Look at just get this in your mind, please. This is absolutely insane. You won't believe this. Miami-Dade County voted for Hillary Clinton by 30 points in 2016. 30 points. Now, Joe Biden in 2020, it narrowed down. Despite him doing better nationwide, Florida became more Republican, including Miami-Dade. It went from Hillary plus 30 to Biden plus 7. And then, in 2024, it became Trump plus 11. So in just 8 years, it went from Hillary plus 30 to Trump plus 11. That's a 41-point shift towards the right. You're looking at almost half of voters completely changing which party they vote for. That's really unheard of. You don't see any situations like Miami-Dade County anywhere else. So that was a major surprise. As for Wisconsin, which I put in the thumbnail, I should bring up the shift map, actually. I bring up Wisconsin because Wisconsin is somehow Harris's best margin of any swing state. Wisconsin is a 0.9% margin for Trump. That's the final tally. 0.9% margin for Trump. A tilt margin win. Michigan is a 1.4% margin. Pennsylvania is a 3-point margin. That's insane. North Carolina is a 3-point margin. Georgia's a 2-point margin. Arizona is, oh my God, right now it's a 7-point margin. That will probably narrow down a little bit, but that's crazy. And Nevada, wow, look at that. Nevada is a 4-point margin. So Wisconsin is somehow Harris's best state out of the 7 battlegrounds. Nobody was expecting this. Nobody. Wisconsin, I mean, the facts right there. Wisconsin was Trump's best swing state in 2016, out of the blue wall at least, out of the blue wall swing states. It was his best blue wall state in 2016, and his best, he lost it, but still his best in 2020. And now it's his worst. Why is that? Well, it's randomly because the suburbs decided to trend left. Look, there were minimal, very minimal trends towards Trump across the state of Wisconsin. And that is why Harris was able to come so close. But it was so narrow in 2020 that even the slightest of shifts changed who the state would vote for. But look around Milwaukee. I mean, Milwaukee was basically stagnant. But then you have the suburbs around Milwaukee actually becoming more Democratic. Waukesha becomes 1.1% more Democratic. Washington, Ozaki, marginal, but it's existent. I mean, when you look at the country, this is a clear difference. Why? I don't know. Well, I honestly have no idea why these suburbs decided to trend left, but the all important Philadelphia suburbs did not. Chester County, 3 points more Republican. Berks, 4 points more Republican. Bucks, 5 points more. So that's interesting. But that's a small silver lining for Democrats, I guess. If you're a Democrat and want something positive, you look at the suburbs around Wisconsin and say, oh, I feel better about Wisconsin going into future elections with those types of trends. So that is what I have. Looking at third parties quickly, I as many of you might know, I love talking about third parties. Just interesting to me. All the other different candidates. When it comes to them, Jill Stein had literally no impact. You can see. Let's see. Let's go to the current results. You can see that oh good, they gave us third parties here. Wisconsin voted for Trump by 0.9. Stein only won 0.36% of the vote. And even RFK Jr., who remained on the Wisconsin ballot despite wanting to be off, got more votes than Jill Stein. Got a lot more votes. He got half a percentage point. That could have been crucial. If Harris were to win the state of Wisconsin. You've got Michigan, where Jill Stein did win 0.8% of the vote, but not even really near anything to change the margin. Then Pennsylvania, Stein only wins 0.5% of the vote, nothing near what is needed to flip the state to Kamala Harris. And even Chase Oliver, the Libertarian, is right there, right with her at 0.5%. Chase Oliver got 0.4 in Michigan, and he got 0.3, basically tied with Jill Stein in Wisconsin. But across the battlegrounds, I mean, you could see in Georgia, actually, Chase Oliver did better than Jill Stein, but it was extremely marginal. Jill Stein's performance in this election, nothing, to be proud of for the Green Party. Looking at 2016, what she got a percentage point, and she only did marginally better, really, than Howie Hawkins. Yeah, who is that? Well, he was the Green nominee in 2020. So looking at it as a whole, these are the current totals. Kennedy could overtake Jill Stein with these last votes coming in from California and Oregon and Washington, but it's unlikely looking at how close this is. So you got Jill Stein under a percentage point, 0.47%, and then Kennedy 0.46, so he only trailed her by some 14,000 votes. And a surprising performance in my mind from Chase Oliver. Chase Oliver got 0.4% of the vote. Libertarians were not expected to do well in this election at all, with Kennedy on the ballot in most states. And, really this election just being so centralized between Harris and Trump, not much talk about third-party candidates. So that means a lot of, these right-leaning libertarians would, go away from Chase Oliver, especially because he is very progressive, very liberal, Chase Oliver, in his ideology. But still, he kept with the other third-party candidates in that 4/10 of a percentage point range. I don't know how well Socialism and Liberation did in 2020, but not too bad. In my mind, they got almost 0.1% of the vote. But what's really funny to me, Cornel West, so much talk about his campaign at one point, right? Remember, he went from People's Party to Green Party, then he switched to Independent. I have no idea why. So much talk about him, so much fear when he got on that Michigan ballot from Democrats. There was a lot of talk about his campaign. He ended up getting 0.5% of the vote. He trailed Claudia de la Cruz of the Socialism and Liberation Party, this no name candidate. Cornel West, awful performance. 67,000 votes nationwide. That is so disappointing. So clearly not a serious campaign at all. You got Randall Terry from the Constitution Party. I don't know how. I think that they did much better in 2020. Peter Sonsky, not a bad showing from the American Solidarity Party this election. Peter Sonsky got 0.02% of the vote. America completely rejected Dr. Shiva. He only got 28,000 votes. And then this guy was on the ballot in Ohio, and he is the ninth most successful third party candidate. Richard Duncan with his running mate Mitch Bupp. That's the best sounding ticket ever. They got 0.01%. So those were the surprises to me. That's what, my takeaways. What really shocked me, maybe we could do a part 2 of this as more results come in, as the really final results come in. And yeah, so with that being said, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.